Welcome to the show, All Things Writing. I am your host, Bryan the Writer. Let me take you on a journey through my writing life and introduce you to some of the amazing talent that exists in the writing world. Whether you are looking for a little advice or just to catch an interesting interview, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. All Things Writing starts now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to All Things Writing. I'm your host, Bryan the Writer. There are a couple of things I'm doing today. I'm doing something a little bit different. I want to try a little experiment, if you will. On your screen, you're going to see me in a tiny little circle of Bryan. But on your screen, you're also going to see basically my current work in progress. Now, I want you to know that this is completely unedited, unfiltered. Have not gone through most of this. This is literally my first draft because, it's amazing. We go to conventions and we sit on panels and we do those things. There's always questions about first draft. How is your first draft going? Oh, by the way, I hope everybody's got power out there. As I'm sitting here in Northern Virginia, I know there's like 1 million people without power because of this big snowstorm everybody got. Looking out in my yard, we got about 10 inches, I'd say, maybe a little bit more in some spots. Then a nice crust over the top. Took the dog for a walk this morning. It was quite an experience. But anyway, my point is, I hope you're all doing well. A couple things I want to bring out, or want to show you, and I've shown these things before, so this is not new. One, my handy dandy hourglass. It's literally an hour. This helps me know when I have done exactly 1 hour's worth of work. I do this pretty normally when I sit down to write because I want to be able to give people the opportunity to see what I'm doing, or I want to, no, try that again. I keep that hourglass out and I run the hourglass because I want to make sure I'm sticking to an hour time frame. A couple of different theories. Some people like word count. Some people I like time frame. I like making sure I am working for a solid hour. Now, I may only get 500 words. I may get 2,000 words done. It just depends on the day, how things are flowing, where I'm at in the story. For example, the thing you're seeing on your screen here is my current work in progress, the Parlengua. Let me show you something. So you see up here we have our the start of this chapter, Family Secrets. And down here, you're going to see this bulletized list. These are all my characters. These are things that I kind of want to keep in mind. I want to have at the ready when I'm working, so I kind of know who they are, why they connect in such a way. Because after a while, you have a lot of different characters that sort of show up in your storyline. You want to make sure and keep them straight. For example, when I first started out, looking at this whole thing. Greg Walcott, the detective Greg Walcott, he was really just sort of an extra character. He was not anybody of note. But as the storyline sort of developed and as the characters were talking to me, I sat there and said, okay, well, no, he's actually more important than that. And then the whole idea of the characters talking to you and saying things like, hey, I belong in this part of the story or that part of the story kind of started to flower. Like with all my stories, I kind of knew the main character being Lucy McGivens. Lucy is a main character, brown hair, gray eyes psychiatrist whose star in the medical community is on the rise. She's sort of well known in psychiatric circles, which is how she ended up getting this temporary position at the William James Hospital for Wellness and Recovery, but it's also known as the James. So you see it referred to in the text mostly as the James. You only see it as the William James Hospital for Wellness and Recovery at the very, very beginning of the story. It's also sometimes referred to as the circus. It's the three-ring circus. And so why don't we get into it? Why don't we get into what I'm doing? So in this chapter, Greg Wolcott has actually been waiting for Lucy to come out of the medical examiner's office um, because he suspects she knows a little bit more about what's going on than she's letting on, and he wants to find out what she knows. In the prior chapter, Lucy was at the medical examiner's office looking at the body of a recently deceased man who they were writing it off as like an alligator attack. But she has her doubts because of some of the other things she's looked at. She has the pictures of other bodies that have gone through similar attacks, and she's trying to sort of piece the story together. And she's about to piece the whole story together, and end up having to face the main characters and all that stuff as the story progresses. Now, I'm going to turn my hourglass back on. I had it laying on its side, so I kind of stopped it. You're also going to notice something that drives people mad, and I understand why it drives them mad, but you'll notice that I have the paragraph or the portion or the section markings on. So I turn them on. I like them on because like if I turn them off here, you'll see they vanish, but then I turn them back on. There they are. The reason I like that is because I really hate it when there's formatting issues and I can't figure out why. So I try to keep an eye on that. Okay, so let's see. I don't blame you, honestly. I should. By the way, I apologize for the camera jiggle. I know there's some camera jiggle. It's all because the my typing. I tend to type heavy. Um, Someday we're going to go through. We're going to actually do a show about my stuff I have here in my office that I use for writing. I got quite the setup going on here. That's a good question. I suppose I don't. Now you don't always need to add dialogue tags. You see, I started there and then I stopped myself. There's only two people in the car, so if Matt was speaking, then it's natural to think that Lucy's speaking next. Um, There actually is a voodoo museum, by the way, in New Orleans. If you ever had the chance to go, it's well worth seeing. Actually, I'll put a page break. No, I'm not going to leave it. The bayou protects its own. I like that. Bayou protect its own. So the entire the entire storyline takes place in New Orleans, and the bayou figures prominently into it. Been fascinated with the bayou for years as a geographer and a guy who's interested in climatology and how water gets processed through our own natural environment. The bayou is a very interesting thing. It does a lot to clean water and do a lot of very interesting natural processes. It's kind of a cool system if you look at it. Swamps in general are actually very interesting to check out. Now this is weird. So in writing, you have sort of a weird transition that's about to take place. We have so if you've been following along, if you're following the text, you'll note that Matt puts his hand on Lucy's shoulder. Lucy has a bit of a crush on Matt. She just likes him. He's a likable guy. But I don't say anything about that because although I allude to it earlier in the text, that's not the main point of this paragraph, or not this paragraph, but this chapter. It's not really the main point. I may draw that out a little bit later on in the text, but I'm not gonna do anything on that now. There's really no point. Right now, we're really dealing more with this chapter. Really deals more with kind of the transition from her investigation into what's going on into more of an active battle. Now, when I'm constructing a novel like this, I keep kind of a close eye on the word count because I really want to come in around 80,000 words. Right now we're at 47,552 words. That's pre-edit. After editing, some things will get. In my past experience, if I leave around 80,000 words, I will end around 80,000 words because I will take out and I will, there will be spots where I'll underwrite, so I've got to write a little bit more. There will be places where I didn't do a very good job, so I will strike things. I'm going to do another video here probably today about editing, because I've got a bunch of editing things lined up that I'm kind of working my way through right now anyway. But okay, so let's continue. The bayou protects its own. Oh, and also understand, I know I'm doing a lot of things in here that I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure my editor would look at it and go, "Why did you write it that way? This is really first draft, okay? This is not anywhere near the final product." Like my words, those words sunk into my brain. Those words rattled around. Whenever you italicize something, it's sort of it suggests that the person's thinking about it. So I want that word, I want that phrase, the bayou protected zone, to be something she's thinking about rather than just something floating out there in the text. Actually, so Lucy's sister inner dialogue. Breathing. So I try to generally restrict swearing, because honestly, I don't think it gives that much to the dialogue. I know editors that I've had in the past have tried to strip all swearing out, or change the swearing. Some words that just they don't like. Damn is usually okay. Um, I personally try to write dialogue and the narrative, the way somebody would be thinking it themselves. So there's really no big cause for a lot of swearing. I don't think it helps much. Um, the only expression, the only time that changes is when you are getting into like big fight scenes where people would naturally be screaming obscenities at each other. The other thing that I think is really kind of fun here is so I'm sort of staying away from the swearing, but I'm also about to kill an entire hospital full of people. So the reality is, I'm not so worried about this. Is not going to be a young adult book. That's not where this is headed. Because when you have bodies flayed and people breathing their last, and as their entrails are sort of like hanging out of their bodies, you know, probably not suitable for children. But anyway, onward. Uh, no, we're not going to say that. I don't like the word suddenly. Nothing happens suddenly. Like, you always have to be careful of not using like the, or I. Um, huge, huge strikes. Oh, shut. See, and I also hate this phraseology here. I had. even in the heat. The smokiness of the smoke. Effect and affect. Those are always there's two very hard words. People screw up all the time. Sometimes I'll do that. Sometimes I'll leave myself like a little spot where I know I'm going to go back to it. I don't know that I still am in love with that T intersection thing there. I don't know. Yeah, we'll leave it for now and then we'll come back to it later. As the old saying goes, 1 hour's worth of writing amounts to 3 hours worth of editing. Oh, the head? No, the heat. I'm sure you all were wondering that too. What the hell does he mean? Oh, I love that. All around me, I felt a million eyes, serpentine and otherwise, watching my every move. I'm actually going to save that because I'm looking for a one-line Wednesday for this week, and I kind of like that line, so we'll keep it. All around me, I felt like a million eyes, serpentine and otherwise. I felt a million eyes. Okay, watch my every move. Dun, 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 dun. Watch my every move. I walk. No. Major. Rose from the water. remembering. Should always be careful with the word was. Was should never show up in narration. It's okay in dialogue, but not narration. And it's kind of hard because you think about it. Is, are, was, were, be, being, been are all words we normally use. So it makes it hard to avoid those in like you'll notice paragraph up I used were or where. I'm or no. No, I didn't. Never mind. I was good. But when I go through this, what I am going to do is I'm going to look for all those words. I'm going to have them all highlighted for me. And I'll go through and I'll look in the next video I do like this. I'll take you through the editing process so you can just sort of see where I am with that process, because kind of how I deal with some of those issues. Not remembering this in our. I turned the car around, mile up the road. There's my dog barking. You probably hear that. So you know we're a real house, not like in some fictitious office. I'm not AI generated, I promise. Mailbox along the side of the road. So now I know that people in the bayou get out early in the morning or stay late at night and go fishing, but they know what they're doing. Lucy's not from the bayou; she's from the Midwest, and so she just came here from somebody from the Midwest. She's not really a person who's familiar with the bayou. She's not familiar with the roads that she's on, so she's also well aware. You know, she's a psychiatrist. She's a smart person. She's been trained. She knows better than to stick her nose into a place where she's probably not supposed to be. In I think probably a chapter or two, probably in two chapters, she's actually going to go back to the place I'm taking her now, and she's going to have like a major showdown. It's going to leave her pretty well shaken. But I'm reestablishing the fact that she can find this place again. That's the purpose of this section, because so far, the last time she was brought out here, by Greg. Greg drove her out here. So she really has no way to find this again. She's not that familiar with the turns and twists and roads. I've been to places in like North Carolina and whatnot where you're going down roads and you're like, I have no idea how anybody would find these places, but they do. Anyway. All right. So I think I'm going to call it quits right there for now, because I hope you've enjoyed this little kind of test case for all things writing, just to sort of see where kind of see where we are in terms of. Let me get the screen back up here because I can't see anything. I want to make sure I can see what's going on. But yeah, I want to make sure we are. We're kind of making content that people would actually like. So let me know in the comments if you actually like this kind of thing. Kind of see where we. I know at least one of you is going to get upset that I'm wearing my CIA sweatshirt. It's a CIA. It's a sweatshirt. I have sweatshirts all over the place. In my office, this is the one I wear. I don't know. Sorry about that. What are you going to do? It's warm. It's keeping me warm. But I hope you've enjoyed this episode of All Things Writing, and kind of process. How does the sausage get made? I know generally speaking we don't like to talk too much about that sort of thing, but yeah, that's the purpose of All Things Writing. Truth in advertisement. You're seeing how things happen, how the writing happens. Again, if you don't have one, go out and get yourself one of these if you're a writer. Maybe not start out with an hour, start out with 15 minutes or something. I used to just use my clock on the wall and time myself. You could use a timer on your phone, anything. The trick is to make it a habit. Now, I'm not actually going to stop writing. I'm just going to stop the show here because I have more to do. Not only do I have this to do, I've got editing to do. Like I said, I'm probably going to do a whole nother video just on the editing alone, just so you can kind of see how the process takes place. Okay, well, that's it for this episode of All Things Writing. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Again, if you like this content, please let me know. You guys don't normally respond to my requests, but I need to know. I need to know if you like this, want to see more of it. I'll make more of it. So actually what I really want to do is make it so that we can go live and do the recordings. And so people will basically do it we'll do it in a way where it's like a set time or something along those lines. Maybe like Saturday mornings we'll sit down and I'll do Writing with Bryan. I don't know. You can watch me work if anybody really wants to. If you don't want to, that's fine. Okay. Well, have a great weekend. Stay warm. If you don't have power, I'm sorry. I hope you get it back soon. It does kind of suck. That happens a lot. All right. Talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.
This has been another amazing episode of All Things Writing. If you heard something that got your wheels spinning, check out the links in the show notes. Also, please follow the show and remember to leave those reviews. Those simple acts of kindness mean the world to us. Hop on over to bryannoack.com, and that is Bryan with a Y, and check out my latest novels. I'm on Amazon or wherever you buy your ebooks. And as a reminder, the music you heard on the show today was used under license from the artist Ryan Ancona. Thanks for listening to the show and have a blessed day.